Welcome to my YouTube channel, guys. This is the second video. This video is gonna be a little bit messy, like way messier than um other videos. And yeah, so basically today's video I'm going to eat my snacks because this is, as you can see, guys, this is me and my disordered eating. I'm feeling stressed, I'm feeling a lot. So what I do is that I stress eat a lot. I think I put this in my hair. Lol. Anyway, so what I do is that I stress eat a lot and hold on. Sorry about that, y'all. But yeah, I stress eat a lot, so I couldn't take it anymore. So I was like, you know what, let me eat a little snack. But we actually gonna do something useful. Not just gonna watch me eat. Though I don't think I would do like mukbang content, but whatever. Let's do a quick book review, or book pre-review. And then once I'm finished with the book, I guess I will tell you guys how I felt about it. This one is really related to a lot of the things that I was talking about, especially when it comes to like workplace bullying and all that, because that's literally the theme of that book. It's a book in French, okay? I will do my best to translate. Um, Sorry, guys. But the title of this book is called Travailler avec des detestables. Just look at the book here. Honestly, I know that I could film my videos on my iPad, which has better quality than my computer, but honestly, I love the quality, the nostalgia, 2006, 2008, like old camera look. But honestly, I will give out the details of the book in the description. So if you want to find the book online or whatever, whatever. So this is the book. Okay. Um um Basically I started to read the book. I'm still at the beginning because this book is more, it's not really a book, it's more like a practical guide, because it's not a book, because usually a book you just read page by page like in order. But I think in the beginning it mentions in the book that you can just kind of skip through through the pages to find what you need, so I think it's great. But me, I'm gonna read like, still, and so far I think it's a very good book. Obviously, mm, okay, sorry about that, guys, but yeah. Also, I forgot to say the title in English. So, Travailler avec des detestables basically means working with despicable, with people that are detestable, despicable. And honestly, so far, I kind of like the book. They actually, from the get go, they gave a very solid advice that I was like, hold on, I never thought. I mean, I think it's something that I implemented, but I never really put like a words to it. It's never like a tactic that I even thought about. Okay, so let me just remove that, because these are glasses that I use to see from afar, and I use them because I went outside. But I don't need them because, obviously. Honestly, after a very difficult day, well, a difficult like 48 hours, the last 48 hours were very, very tough. It does feel nice to eat comfort food. I'm not proud of myself because I should have eat my fruits, eat my veggies, but I was like, oh, you know what, fuck it, it's okay. But I know that it's not super proud of myself. Anyway, book review or book pre-review, because as you can see here, this is the little thing to show that I didn't finish the book. I just started the book. Um, I would say that the tone of the book, it's very, it's a quite recent book, 2024. Okay, that's interesting, because just with the way that they talk about, like, the tone of the book, the personality of the book so far, I feel like it's very like it's giving like this naivete, this optimism, and it's like, because me, when I talk about stuff like that, workplace bullying, workplace issues, whatever, I tend to be maybe a little bit like very serious and very like, let's talk about it. But for example, the reason why I say this is because, oh, I forgot to finish my first point. Oh my god. Okay, let me just eat my pizza. Oh fudge. My pizza is just, it's a cheese pizza, because I don't. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Let me just. But yeah, basically, the from the get go, when I first read that book, something that I really like is that they basically said that one thing about, once you have identified that you're dealing with a difficult person or difficult personalities, the first thing you have to think, do I have to interact with them? And if I have to interact with them, think in advance, what is it that you want out of that interaction? Let's say that you need to talk to that difficult person because, oh, you need to, sorry guys, you need to like have a you need them because sometimes, sometimes they may be part of the chains, right? The whatever, partie de, oh my god, I'm losing, like I'm eating so much food and it's like anyway. But anyway, you have to think about like, why do I have to think, what is it that I want out of this interaction? Because sometimes, again, when I remember the difficult people that I would interact with, I would be like, okay, I have to talk to them. I have to ask them a question about that because they are like the expert about it or whatever. So I will ask them the question. That's it. So I feel like naturally, when you are dealing with difficult people, especially when the whole system or the environment is just as difficult or like enable their toxicity or whatever, I feel like it's something that you kind of naturally do. You kind of naturally prepare yourself. But I feel like when you actually see it clearly, you put the words to it and you actually see it, you're just like, oh wow, that's interesting. So I would say that page 13 ici, y'all cannot see it. Yeah, let me just, sorry, okay, let me just show you guys. Okay, you guys can see a little bit. Page 13, it does not, says here, se préparer à interagir avec une personne difficile, ou whatever. Que souhaitez-vous obtenir de cette rencontre? Quel est le motif de cette rencontre? Quels sont les principaux... Quels sont les principaux résultats que vous souhaitez atteindre? Demandez-vous si vous devez ou non modifier votre comportement. Oh, c'est ça. This is the thing that I was like, ooh, that's interesting, because I kind of like didn't think about that or like whatever. But demandez-vous si vous devez ou non modifier votre comportement pour tirer le meilleur parti de cette rencontre. So basically, for English translation, what is it that you'd like to obtain or gain out of this encounter or interaction? What is the reason of that encounter or interaction? What are the main results you'd like to gain or obtain or achieve out of this encounter? And lastly, oh, you cannot see anything. Okay. Oh my god, y'all. Okay, I get. Okay, now you see. Okay, now you guys see. Here, it basically says. Okay, sorry about that, guys. But here it basically says, ask yourself if you must or must not, or if you have to, I don't know, modify your behavior to gain the best out of this encounter. This one caught my attention because, as I said, when you are dealing with a difficult person, especially in a work environment, because usually for friendship and love, you just kind of like ghost each other. It's like, whatever, I'm not talking to you because I'm not obligated to you. But I mean, I guess it would be difficult in a friend group. I really feel bad for people who are stuck to talk to someone that is difficult or antagonistic, whatever, in a friend group that they cannot easily let go of. Like, so I guess you could also apply it to like friend groups, but any sort of groups. But here it's specifically regarding work, and even my experience with toxic people is usually related to work. It's because, one-on-one context, like with my ex-friend, it's kind of easy. You just block each other on WhatsApp, text, whatever, and you just forget about each other. It's kind of easy. But when it's work or tight friend group or community or school, it's difficult to not interact with that person, right? Anyway, so this one caught my attention because, like I said, yeah, it's something that most people, if ever you've been in a toxic work environment, for example, you know that, okay, I have to interact with that person, let me prepare myself, da da da. But then the thing that caught my attention was, do I need to modify my behavior? And I feel like, again, something that I automatically do. You have, for example, for certain type of bullies, you have to like pretend that you're happy, because if they see that you're sad and stressed, they will be like, oh, okay, so it got to her, I'm happy. So you kind of, so I feel like this one is very interesting. I did not know that, or at least it was not as clear to me, right? Anyway, so yeah, but I would say that so far I'm reading the book, I am at page 31. Basically, they are talking about the types of difficult personalities, and they basically have like those very like random categories. Yes, I do not care. I'm now super proud of myself. So this is a donut, maple syrup donut and vanilla, like a brown Canadian. Okay, maple syrup everywhere. No, but for real, like, ugh, yeah, it is what it is. But mm, okay, sorry about that, guys. I just eat the first donut. It's not giving. I mean, it is good. It is, but it's not as good as like the donuts from like Tim Hortons, or like what's this called? Anyway, but it's okay. Whatever. It's very good though, and now I feel kind of. Oh, je me sens rempli. I feel full, but like, I don't know. You know what? I just got through a friendship. I don't know if it's a friendship, because we were very, very close, as in touchy, touchy close. Um, it does feel like a heartbreak. So you know what? Let me eat my donuts, because I'm going through something. Anyway, but yeah, and also another thing that I like from the get go about this book, because I know I talk about the categories, but another thing that I like about this book is that, what, let me just, oh boy, what is that? Sorry, guys. But the thing I like about this book also is that from the get go, they talk about to ask yourself, maybe you are one of the difficult people, right? And I feel like it's a very good, I mean, obviously it's doing some self-reflection and being like, maybe I'm the difficult one, maybe I'm the toxic one in the at work, maybe I'm part of the toxic people. But you know if you have to ask yourself, hmm, am I toxic? What am I doing that is so wrong, etc.? Maybe you're not as toxic as at least those people, right? So that's one thing. But I feel like it's important also, because when, for example, they are at the section where they talk about um I think there's like 7 types. Was it 7? Let me check something. Okay, yeah, 7. So basically in that book, there's like they are basically describing 7 types of difficult personalities. And I will do the best translation that I can. So for example, there's the um wait a minute. Okay, so you got the first type. I'm reading from the book. You guys cannot see it. Okay, now you can see it. Look at that. Look at that, y'all. This is the book. Okay, so the first type is oh, sorry. The first type is the ones that are hostiles, aggressive, and likes to be messy. They like fights. They like les querelleurs. Okay, les hostiles, les agressifs, et les querelleurs, which translate to the hostiles, the aggressives, and the what could be the best translation for querelleur? People that like fights. Not the fighters, as in like they're good fighters, but like people that just love a messy fight. Okay, they love conflicts. Okay, the conflict lovers, right? And there's And this category has three subcategories, which basically they say le char d'assaut, le tireur isolé, et la bombe à retardement. So basically, the char d'assaut is what would be the translation for that? Char d'assaut, it's like like in war, like those big a tank, the tank. Okay, so the tank, okay, think of it like an army tank. It's basically someone who's like very rude, very vulgar, very intimidating, very écrasant qu'ils disent, but like very like someone who's very brusque, very rude, very in your face. Like this is the type of person who's like loudly rude, loudly abrasive, loudly aggressive. I remember I met someone like that. She goes in your face, she talks to you, and she's like, "Why are you wearing that? Why are you wearing that today? It's not cute." And it's like, oh Jesus! Not only you have no manners, but also you just criticize me just like that. Like these are the type of people like they give you. It's in your face. Okay, they're very easy to spot. Then you have tireur isolé would be the sniper. Okay, if I could make it a translation, the sniper. The sniper, it's basically it's if I have to make comment dire, a summary of the definition, it's basically the sniper in that subcategory is basically someone who's nice nasty, right? And I really like that they're putting that person nice nasty that cares a lot about the way that people see them. They want people to see them as nice, as kind, but like they're the type of people to like give you underhanded compliments, and not under compliment, like the type of underhanded critique or compliment that really hurts. Like they're really vicious. Okay, very nice. Those nice nasty type of people. And I really like that they put them in that first category because this is a type of aggression. This is these nasty people, don't get fooled by them. They are very aggressive. It's very verbally, at least socially, they're aggressive. Yeah, okay. So I like that. I like that they didn't put them in a category of like the fake ones, because people that are fake like that, that's very aggressive. I think it's called relational aggression or whatever. And then the last subcategory of that category would be bombe à retardement, which translates to the bomb or the ticking bomb. Okay, basically, okay. So, oh yeah, I met someone like that. Okay, so basically, a ticking bomb would be someone that they are very susceptible and sensitive. Like, let's say you are in a conversation and you say something about them, like something very casual, or like, but you let's say you talk about, I don't know, whatever, like, but you told me that you prefer those type of flowers, right? And then they're like, what do you mean? And then they'll start being mad, and it's like, everything is about intentions, and it's like these people, they cannot seem to they seem to have, it's basically someone that has anger issues. Basically, it's someone that has anger issues that is so bad that you don't even control them in social spaces, you don't control them in controlled social spaces, type of anger issues. And I did work with someone like that, with someone that, like, for example, I was like, okay, her method of working was not super fast. And again, I understand that some jobs, it's not about being fast, it's about it being efficient, and sorry, in client care. I understand that. But in that case, it was like, we need to be fast because Sorry guys, but like, yeah, but in that specific case it was actually for the good of everybody, to be a little bit fast, right? And then when I kind of proposed to her, like, hey, maybe for us to finish early and serve as much client as possible, we could do it that way. Because look at the way that I did it. Because me, when I propose an idea, I always make sure to show an example, so that we, just to add to credibility, right? Just to show them, right? And she just started to get mad. She was like, no, 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 no. And I was like, okay. So yeah, I can definitely see. So basically, taking bomb is just people with like anger issues. Anyway, type two of difficult personalities would be the complainers, right? And this one, I have a lot to say about this, especially since my previous friend that I've been talking about kept saying that, oh, you're such a complainer. All you do is complaining. Yeah, you always say complaining. And look, I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little bit of a complainer. I'm a little bit of a complainer. Okay. But here it's different. It's not the same type of complainer here that we're talking about. Here, we're talking about people that in a workspace or in any sort of social group or whatever, these are the people that they always, I feel like, it's always like they always have something negative to say, basically, from what I can understand. Because I'm not going to read everything, obviously. It's already 20 minutes. But it's basically someone that they always have something negative to say, always. And again, at first, you think that a complainer is someone that is, that likes to offer another perspective, a balance. Hey, maybe yes, that project is great, but like maybe we should be careful because we don't want this to happen. Like the last time, it's great. It's great. But you kind of notice where it's no longer constructive and useful when they start to complain about even stuff that there's nothing to complain about, or like it's really not that deep, right? And I did met a few people like that. I can say that I did met a few. It was not that deep the way that they complain about, but like it was just, oof. You're working a very long shift, and then you have someone just complaining, like, girl, come on, like, so, and it says here, étant donné que, c'est combien sur le plus attention les reçus ça? Attends, they said something here. Les rechigneurs et les récriminateurs, okay, which in English means people who like to criticize a lot. People that, yeah, I think by complainer, they also mean people that criticize a lot. Constant, and the criticizes is, yeah, constant criticism and all of that. So I would say that this category is really not that bad. Like, I feel like it's not that bad to deal with them. But it can be very annoying depending on the job you work or the industry, and then you have to deal with someone that, oh, that I did that is great. Yeah. Anyway, so let's move on because it's 23 minutes. This one, the third category, the third category, y'all. What would I mean? Okay, whatever. The third category is les silencieux et les passifs, which translates to the passives ones and the quiet ones. Now, I got beef with that part because as someone who's very quiet, very keep to myself, very passive, almost aloof, okay, very detached at work, I got a lot of flack for this. But once I read it, I was like, oh, okay, I know what they mean. So basically, what they mean by the quiet ones or the passive ones. Again, translation here is not perfect, right? So basically, it's basically saying that the passive one uses silence like armor to not reveal themselves. They avoid all criticism or all commentary. Moreover, the quiet one often uses silence ou le mutisme, comme qu'ils disent ici, as an aggressive method or way, defensive, to hurt you when they do not allow access to him. Okay. In In certain cases, the person passive or quiet can does not trust others, which explain is need to shut the hell up. Okay, I'm just doing a very bare bone translation. Okay, I'm not a professional translator. Sometimes also keeping the silence. I don't know. Sometimes also keeping the silence is used as a way to avoid their personal reality. When words are or expressed, they reveal thoughts or insecurities or fears that scares the person that speaks them. Blah blah blah. Okay, I'm not gonna read everything. Okay. All right. All right. So I found my case. And basically, it also says that how to recognize the quiet ones or the passive one. They deal with any difficult situation by. Okay, sorry guys. They deal with any difficult situation by keeping to themselves in an intense manner, not just in a cute little manner like okay, let me just have some me time. No, no, they literally close themselves off. And here's the thing. Again, one, my translation might be bad. Okay, so when I see the quiet ones, I don't mean people like you and I, hopefully you also, but at least people like me that we tend to be quiet at work. We don't really talk. We just keep to ourselves. We like to work in our own little bubble. That's it. I'm not talking about that. I don't think they're talking about that either. Here, they're really talking about the specific type of person that they uses silence and passivity as a extreme way to deal with difficult situations. And I wouldn't be surprised if that friend that I had, that ex-friend, is also like that. Instead of dealing with this difficult situation and resolving the conflict, they choose silence, they choose stonewalling, they choose to close themselves off and just be like, okay, I'm not talking to you, I'm just going to remove access. I'm just gonna like make traits towards you if you talk to me because I don't want to deal with that difficult situation. Like people like that, I'm sorry to say it, but like it's giving emotional immaturity. It's what it's giving. But again, let's not shame people for being emotionally stunted, right? It's not it. Life happens. Like even me, I'm not that emotionally mature, so hey, whatever. But here they're really talking about that specific type of coworker at work, client, whatever, that they just decide to stay silent because maybe again maybe some people when there's a difficult situation, this is all they know. This, and even me sometimes I even do that where it's like when I deal with a tough situation or I see someone is disrespecting me, I'm just gonna be like, oop, I'm just gonna fawn or whatever. But I don't think here they're talking about it because again you have to understand that here the whole thing is about difficult personalities. So I feel like you have to think from an extreme perspective, not just someone who close them off a little bit when they're going through something or someone who's quiet at work, whatever. I think here they're really, really talking about people that like it's impossible. You cannot even. I think it says here it happens that their silence is used to hide a fear or a very terrifying anger or a stubborn refusal to cooperate. I would say here key emphasis on cooperation. Okay, because here's the thing: people that are difficult, okay, especially to work with, deal with. The key word here is cooperation. How difficult it is to achieve some sort of a compromise or reconciliation, or even to cooperate with that person. So again, the type tree that they're talking about is not just people that we like a quiet space, we like to be quiet, or people that when they're going through something tough, they just, you know what, they closed off a little bit. No, no, no. But it's two different things. Here they're talking about people that they use silence as a weapon. They use silence as a weapon. They are purposely very it's difficult to communicate with them. and and thus cooperating with them. So I feel like this type, I never really met someone like that. I mean, in my previous workplace, when there was like this smear campaign, rumors about me, some people started to act very cold towards me, very distant towards me, and they just stopped cooperating with me. So for example, if let's say I would come to them because I had a question, because me, once I see that, oh, okay, they don't fuck with me, it's a virus. I just kind of like, I will talk to you unless I have to, right? So when I did talk to them because I had to, I had a question, they would take 2,000 years to reply. So again, this is a form of passive aggressiveness. This is a form of, you're difficult to deal with because now you're angry at me for whatever reason and you decide to use silence as a way to punish me, right? So I think this is what they mean by that. But at first when I saw it, when I saw the quiet ones and the passives, I was like, y'all. But it's a whole different type. Let's go to the type 4. Okay, type 4. Type 4 is really surprising to me. Okay, type 4 is basically les traits arrangeants, which translates to the extra kind ones, the extra nice ones. Now, this type are the extremely likable one, or you could even say, I will say it, maybe even they talk here about the personality hires, but here, let's just say the extremely nice ones. Here, this one is a different time than the nice nasty, because the nice nasty is, it says in the word, they're nice to your face, but they're nasty in your back, or there's an undertone of mean and nastiness in the way that they behave with you, right? But the type 4, which is the extremely nice ones, these are people that they're very cooperative, they're very reasonable, they are sincere, they're honest, and they may even be people that are very funny, that like to talk with people, that like to that they are very good on the human side, right? It's amazing to to do to be with people like that, but there's just a one little issue with them, and there's a reason why they are in that book. It's the fact that they are not reliable. They're not reliable. They're not reliable at all. These are the type of people that they want to be friends with everybody. They like to attract attention, or maybe they attract attention easily. They, they are the type of people that they are not reliable. They will say yes, 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 I want to do this. Yes, 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 I want to participate in that project. Yes, 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 I will deliver this. But then they don't. They're not reliable. And again, these are the type of people from, I'm translating here because it's all in French. These are people that they spend more time and more energy in making everybody at work, at whatever social place, to love them and accept them than actually delivering results. And I feel like, I mean, saying that these people are despicable is kind of a stretch, but I understand why they are in that category, because when it comes to like high stakes contracts, a lot of money is involved, or just a whole project is involved and all that. When it comes to like also people's time, yeah, you want to be a little bit reliable. So this is where these type of people, it's like, okay, it's actually annoying. Like, yeah, sure, I understand you want to make everybody laugh, you want to, you know be the jester, literally, in a way, but at some point you actually have to put in the results. And I feel like this is why I kind of mentioned quickly, like, personality hires. I mean, some personality hires are actually good at the technical side, but if I go with the stereotypes, these are the type of people like they can work the room, but when it comes to actually putting in the work, the technical side of things, where are they? Ain't nothing. So yeah, this can be very annoying. I can see that. I would say though, while I say all of that, I got real comfortable talking about that category. I kind of see myself in that category. Okay. I do feel like sometimes, especially when I am overwhelmed, or I feel like sometimes I may have issues with the reliability things. For example, Like I promised that friend that, oh yeah, I will give you the documents, and I never did. I mean, now that I genuinely don't think that I will ever give him anything, because he does not care about me, does not even say thank you, whatever, right? But still, I wished I had sent him the documents earlier as I promised. And yeah, I kind of see myself in that, where it's like, yeah, c'est bien beau là, c'est bien beau bien s'entendre, mais à un moment donné, faut que, tu sais, c'est ça là. So yeah, but I don't think these are the, yeah. Anyway, the type five, sorry, is the negative ones. People that are negative. Um, I think it's kind of similar to the complainers, where it's like, but these ones. Yeah, this one it's pretty straightforward. The negative ones, they're the type of people that when you work with them, it's always something negative. It's always it's not just it's different than complaining, because complaining it's like you propose something, you propose a solution, they complain. Something new happened, they complain. But the negative ones, it's like unprompted. It's like they will say something negative just cause, and it's like you guys have to, you know, yeah. Anyway, so for this one, I think I'm gonna be a little bit faster because it's almost 4 minutes, and I think I want my other donut. Okay. Hmm. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, yeah. So type five is the negative ones, whatever. Type six is the know-it-all. Okay, the people that they think they know everything, and yeah, these can be difficult to deal with, because it's like you're just like talking about something, and like they will putting in their opinions and be like, no, it's actually not like that, like because yeah, it's kind of annoying. Pretty straightforward people that are know it all, like, oh, I know this, I know that, like, you know. um and lastly, category 7, the les indécis, so people that are indecisive, they cannot make a decision. mm, okay, so indecisive ones are basically, it says it in the word, these are people that it's difficult for them to make a decision, not because they're stupid or they're dumb. It's because they want things to be perfect, they want things to, yes, go their way, okay, just like everybody else. But these are people that they see all the options, they weigh all the pros and cons, they see everything, and they're like, oh my god, I don't know which one to choose, because it's a lot. These are people that have a lot of yeah, they need to have a course on decision making, on strategic decision making or something. But yeah, and honestly, I recognize myself with that one, like, because yeah, sometimes I am very indecisive. I don't know if it's because I'm a Libra or whatever, but yeah, sometimes yeah, I'm a perfectionist, and sometimes it is tough for me to make a final decision, because I'm like, what if I make the wrong decisions, and I have to think about the pros, the cons, the why, the how, the details here and that. So yeah, but I can see how it can be difficult in the long run, especially with high stakes projects. I can see how it can be very annoying and tough to work with someone who's not the best at decision making. It can be very, it's like, especially when time is limited, it's like, yeah, make a decision now, right? But with that being said, um when I said earlier that this book, I was just started the book, so far I like it. They do give actual, like, solid advice, but for me it still feels very light. It still feels very like they're touching the surface of difficult personalities at work. Now I am still at the beginning of the book. I didn't finish the book, right? See, I just opened a random page 111, and here it says, okay, here it says the collègue pinailleur. I did not know that word. Da, 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 da. Un patron pinailleur, ça ne peut pas marcher. Des critiqueurs. So basically, it's people that criticize a lot, always have something negative to say. Like it reminds me of that time I had this relative that every time. This is why I say that I don't have no family, y'all. Because one time, no one time, actually not just one time, many times with that relative. Every time I would tell them a very good, like happy news, something good, right? They would just say something negative right after. Oh, it's not gonna work. Why would you do that? Oh, you know it's tough. You shouldn't do it. Like I can tell the difference from someone who's genuinely looking out for me and genuinely like sharing their concerns, but they still encourages me and they still like fuck with me versus someone who's just wants to rain on my parade. Okay, these are basically people that pinaillard, okay, in French, which is basically criticism. These are people that they just rain on your parade, whether they know it or not, whether they care or not. It's very annoying on the long run to deal with someone like that. Um, but yeah, so it's just a random page. It's a random page, and I just but again, they tend to repeat themselves a lot. But I think it's because they are they are kind of like maybe, the seven categories that we just saw, maybe they're like, talking about this in details. But again, for me, so far, it just feels very light. It feels very light because I feel like, for example, a YouTube channel that I absolutely love, okay, and I admire that woman, okay, I never met her, interacted with her once, she was really, really nice, online, of course, is the channel Claire Hunt, okay, she talks a lot about workplace bullying in details. She talks about the nitty gritty, the ugly, well, the ugly, because it's not good, right? There's nothing good about bullying or workplace bullying. She talks about the real deal. She talks about the real stuff, right? Because again, one of the ways where I just felt désemparée, where I felt tabarnak, I just felt hopeless, is when I look online and I search how to deal with workplace bullying. And the first few articles, it's gonna be some light-hearted stuff. Tell your boss, tell HR, um talk to them so that it can be resolved. Ma'am, ma'am, this these type of advices work can work, but in very specific cases. In a lot of cases, sometimes the boss themselves are the one doing the bullying or the one co-signing it, enabling it. Sometimes the HR isn't on it too. Okay, no shade, but it's true. Sometimes if you do tell HR, let's say HR is neutral or whatever, the boss has more power than you, so they will like retaliate even more. Like it's not that easy to deal with workplace bullying. It's a lot of something that they don't tell you about workplace bullying is that you have to have yourself a lot of discernment. You have to have yourself a lot of good judgment, your head on your shoulder, right? You have to be a very good judge of character and be very good um, at understanding and seeing situations as they are, right? You cannot just be like, oh, let me talk to them about it. 9 times out of 10, at least in my experience, talking to them about it does not do shit. It does not do anything. Because, first of all, one, there's no conflict. What do you mean there's a conflict? It's not a personality conflict. That person attacked me. Okay? For whatever reason, they're mad at me. They don't like me for whatever reason. And so they feel entitled to attack me. And I'm like, what? How is this a conflict? I was minding my business over there. The fuck? So when you talk to them about it, like, hey, why did you say that? Like, that was kind of fucked up. As we saw with my just ex-friend here, when you talk to people about something that they've done to you, and you're just like, hey, I didn't really like the comment that you made. Like, what did you mean by that, or whatever. And maybe it's the way that I formulate my thing, but again, how is this toxic? How is this wrong? A healthy person would not Anyway, that person will just use this as a way to like punish you and hurt you and discard you even more. So anyway, with that being said, that's the thing so far. I don't really vibe with that book because the tone it's giving, a BuzzFeed article where how to deal with workplace bullying, just talk to them about it. No, before you decide to talk to them about it, you have to tell yourself, is this the type of person that you can even be talked about? Talk to, so should I say, right? Because a lot of bullies, especially the nice nasty ones, especially they're the most, me when I look at the categories, well, the nice nasty ones, they are the most, oof, the most despicable, the most despicable. Okay, sorry, I got hot because yeah, I'm talking about this and whatever. um okay, sorry about that, but like, yeah, so it's like, how do you, because again, a lot of bullies tend to be the nice nasty ones. Okay, they tend to be the passive aggressive one, the covert ones, the ones that do a subtle digs just like that. And then how do you confront that, right? Just like the mayor of Montreal said in a recent interview on the radio. See, she was talking about systemic racism. Okay, she was saying that there's this ressentiment. What would be the best translation for ressentiment? Because I don't want to say like vibe because that's absolutely not this ambiance. Should I say? Voyons, comment je fais donc c'est. Hold on, guys. Just bear with me. Ressentiment. Resentment. Eh la la. Eh la la. No, that's not what I meant here. But it's what did she say exactly? Okay, I cannot say exactly word for word verbatim what she said, but she basically said that there's this ambiance, this tension, this non-dit, this non-verbalness, okay, of when you're someone of color, when you're a racialized um, person of color, let's just say that, a person of color, where when you are in certain situations, you constantly have to ask yourself, was that racist? Did that person just insulted my color or my ethnicity or whatever? Like, you constantly have this. Anyway, he's just as an example, just as an example, but the reason why I used as an example is because there's this non-verbal thing, this non-dit, so what we do not say, right, that also you have to deal with. And yes, it can still be aggression, it can still be an attack, right, and it's very difficult to call out. So yeah, so again, so this book so far feels very light stuff for me. But honestly, I am still open to read it. I maybe, like I said, maybe I will learn certain things. um and also another good thing that I like about this book is the fact that they offer you another perspective, right? In all of the 7 categories that I talked about in that from that book, okay, they basically said, how can you use that personality in a way that's productive? And I feel like I've already read that because I took a course about human resources and all of that. And I think they basically talked about that. When you see someone who tends to have like, I don't know, yeah, when you meet someone that tends to have like very intense anger issues, like they explode easily, they scream, da, 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 da. When you deal with that type of personality, once you're like, oh, okay, I'm dealing with someone that tends to have anger issues. That's like their, once you have detected, if I can say that, detect this, because I wanted to use another word, but whatever. Once you know that you're dealing with such a person, how can you use that to in a manner that's productive? Because I was about to say to your advantage, but because I think this is exactly what the book is saying actually. Let me say it. Okay, let me show you guys. Okay, so yeah, here, okay, I don't know if you guys can see it. I mean, obviously not because the lighting is bad. Okay, here, you see that here? Pensez-y, think about it. Okay, that's basically what it is. I'm gonna say it in French and after that in English. Négocier avec des gens détestables, c'est justement ça. Les gérer et utiliser leur talent. Une bonne gestion consiste à obtenir le meilleur de chacun. I really like this part here. And again, this is something that I didn't really talk about. I didn't really thought about, should I say, or it's something that I kind of neglected. Even if I had a passing thought about it, I was just kind of like, it just didn't stick. Because here's the thing. When I was going through this workplace bullying or whatever, when you go through bullying and abuse, automatically your nervous system, if I can say that, I'm not an expert, but I can only talk from experience, okay, and from the few things that I read, okay. And yeah, when you are being attacked, when you feel like you're being attacked, you don't have time. We we tend to focus on protecting ourselves, protecting the ego, protecting our emotions, protecting our inner child, I don't know, whatever. We tend to just, the first thought is, I need to protect myself, I need to protect myself, I need to protect myself, right? So sorry guys, you don't really think about, sorry guys, and it's almost 15 minutes, so let's wrap it up, okay? But you don't really think about, like, how can I use, I hate the word using, but but how can I turn this into my advantage, right? But now that you know, now that I know, we can do better. But I remember back when I was going through it, all I thought about was making through the day, not having to deal with these people. How can I protect myself? Where are the attacks are gonna come from now? What is it gonna be, something at my desk? Is it gonna be something online? Is it gonna assign me a very humiliating project or a task? Like what is it? Because again, this is how bullies, especially bullies in group, this is how they destabilize you, by constantly attacking you. So then you don't have the time. All you think about is protecting yourself and being on the defense. You're constantly on the defense mode, right? You don't think about, that's interesting. That says a lot about them. How can I use that to my advantage, right? But now, like I said, now that you know, right? But basically, that's what they say. They basically said negotiating with despicable people, it's just that, to manage them and use their talents or skills. It's really, the translation is not perfect, y'all. So okay, but this is just a raw translation. A good management consists of obtaining or gaining the best of each person, right? Um. Da, 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 da. Okay, yeah. So I really like this approach. I feel like, and this is the whole thing about human relationships, social intelligence. You see that someone tend to be very good at decor, for example, or aesthetic stuff. They're really good at visual stuff. Put them in visual projects, put them at visual stuff where they will flourish, right? Or for example, here, if we go back to the know it all type of person, the people that, oh, I know everything, and they always explain why they know this, da, 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 da. These people, simply put them, if they love the power that comes with knowledge, or they like to, to explain stuff because, oh, look at me, I know everything, maybe it's good to give them, to put them in in positions or situations where they get to do that in a manner where it's like they use their main traits, in a productive manner that helps everyone, and that does not and if I could say this en bon français, qui ne casse pas les couilles, so like, yeah, I really really like this approach, and I feel like, again, it's not something that I didn't thought about, but it's not something that I really focused on, right? Managing, and this is where see, this is, again, yeah, now I think I got it. This is why, even though I like the book, I like this approach. This is why this book feels very light towards me, because again, it approaches, let me just, yeah, yeah, okay. So this is why I have when I say that this book, the issue with this book is that it's very light. It's because okay, sorry about that. It's because oh mon Dieu. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, this is the reason why I was kind of like, ooh, I don't really like the tone of this book or whatever. It's because it approaches difficult personalities as something that can be manageable. And, as something that, okay, sorry about that, guys. But like, this is one of the issues that I have with this book so far, is that it approaches difficult, I think I already repeated myself, but whatever. It approaches difficult personalities or difficult people at work as something, as people that can be managed, as people that can be tolerated, as people that can be dealt with. And here's the thing, they're not wrong. They're really, really not wrong. Okay, it is possible to still make it true, right? But it does not tackle the aspect of workplace bullying or work. I mean, did they talk about bullying? Yeah. See, this is my understanding. Me, I thought that it's not really a book about workplace bullying. It's more a book about how to deal with difficult people. It's literally what this is. So I think that my understanding from the get go was a little bit skewed. But so I cannot expect that book to talk about the greedy, the ugly stuff about workplace bullying, which is like it's basically abuse. It's emotional and psychological abuse, and it's not something to laugh about, right? Well, this book is just, yeah, how to deal with difficult people. Here you go. It does not mention if that person is gonna um you know it does not mention, it does not talk if that person's gonna abuse you, if it's, yeah. So I guess we'll see. I guess I will continue to read that book and see what it's about. um but I would say that it's definitely not the book to read or the information to go to. If if you look, this thing you have to recognize is that person, yes, that person has a difficult personality. Okay, that person has this big flaw that is very difficult to deal with or to cooperate with that person. Okay, but is that person, because I feel like there's a threshold, right? There's a threshold. Is that person literally abusive, right? For example, people that are not reliable, like the category of people that are very extremely nice, but they're not reliable. Okay, they say yes to everything, but they don't keep up their promises, right? Those type of people, I don't think we can say that they are abusive, because again, it's, you can see that it's a flaw, it's a personality flaw, it's a flaw in their psychology, if I can say that. But for example, the people, the nice nasty ones, these are the type of difficult personality that I'm like, okay, this is where I'm like, we're kind of like, we're going past a certain threshold of like, okay, it might go into abuse, right? It might go into literal abuse, because the nice, nasty ones, they would be the type of people, the nice, nasty ones, yeah, the nice, nasty ones are their snipers, okay? Because again, those categories, they're the type of people that they will do something to you in your back. And yeah, so again, it's a good book. I'm still gonna read it because again, could be very interesting. So far it is quite interesting, but it's definitely not something that talks about the real stuff, you know. um it's mostly about like people personality traits and whatever. And I suggest one YouTube channel that really helped me, and reassured me, okay, also, was the Claire Hunt channel. She talks also about the spiritual aspect of bullying. And I just love her so much. I love her channel so much because it's like, I knew I was not crazy, I knew I was not tripping, I knew that she, in a way. So yeah, it's almost a 1 hour video, so thank you so much for listening to my pre-review of that book, which is technically not really a book, it's more like a guide, but I'm still gonna read it as if it's a book. And maybe I will give you guys a few updates here and there. I'll probably also provide timestamps in the video so that it's easy. But like, yeah, so this is the book. And well, you guys didn't really see me eat a lot of food. This is my donut here. Yum, 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 yum. And I'm just gonna read for the rest of the night. I wanted to do my hair, like my actual real hair, but then I was like, "Oh, I think for now I'll just read my books and pray. Just yeah, read my books a little bit, and then after that I have to go back to this life, to this very, very sad life. Yay. Thank you for thank you for listening to me. See you in the next video. Bye bye.